and welcome back to another episode of Divination with Danny. I know I took a small break in there, but needed to kind of reconfigure what I wanted to do with this show. I did have a hot minute of thinking that maybe I was just going to shut it all down, but I really sat with that for a minute and really needed to ask myself why I would want to shut something down that I was so passionate about, and ended up realizing that it was more of I just didn't like the direction I was taking versus not being interested anymore. So as we go, you guys are going to be seeing a few little changes, nothing too major. Maybe a little bit in the way of the style in which I introduce things. I know I am going to revamp how I dive into tarot, and that's definitely going to be reflected in this show, especially with this episode tonight. I did also, sorry, I don't know why I'm saying so much. I did also change my logo. Have you guys seen this yet? Have you seen my logo change? This right here. So when I was at the moment of I'm just gonna stop. Like I didn't want to do anything on social media with tarot anymore. I didn't want to do my daily. I didn't want to do my show. And I needed something to bring me back. So I sat and I was like, okay, what is something that I can really get behind? I can put my energy into. And I was playing around and I came up with this. This is my logo. This brought me back to I'm not done. I am not giving up. So my new logo means a hell of a lot to me, and brought my fighting spirit back, more or less. So you're going to see the logo change. The daily tarot itself is actually going to change a little bit too. I used to do like the 3 cards, right, to figure out what the day is going to be. And then I would do an advice card, kind of taking that away. And it might morph a little bit as I go. I'm really starting to play with the boundaries of what I'm comfortable with again. So which means there's going to be a lot of growth happening, right? So we'll get into that. But tonight is all about elements. We are going to start off talking about the elements. We're going to start with water, and I will dive into. I have to bring up I have bullet points to keep me on track tonight with all the information. But before we dive into the episode, I do want to say hello to the chat on the side here because you guys keep me going, and you have no idea how much I appreciate every single one of you. And you have no idea how much it means to me to see this man first on my show. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you for being here, for being first. That made my night. Thank you. Big Daddy Andy, thank you so much for being here. It's so nice to see you tuning in. I see Spirit. Hello. Let's see, I think, is that everyone? Tom, thank you so much. Oh, thank you. Yeah, the new logo is it's a big deal for me. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And if people come in as we go or watch this on the replay, hello and thank you so much. I appreciate every single one of you. And let me bring this up right away too, because how many of you really connect to a suit? I know for me, the cups is my suit. I really connect with them. But as I bring this up real quick. So went over the changes. There's going to be a wee bit of changes. Oh, guys, I know I'm a little, just bear with me here as I do this. I have an email address now, and I'm actually going to dive into this a little bit more on my next episode as to what I intend to do with the email address. But this is going to be a way for people who are interested in learning a little bit more that maybe I haven't touched on, or have questions about something, or want to know a little bit more about myths or misconceptions. I will be bringing up my email address and asking people to write in. Even if you have your own tarot experiences, or you've done a reading and something really beautiful or something crazy came out of it, and I'd like to be able to share people's stories as well. So we will definitely dive into more with myself requesting of you to send into my email address. But I do have an email address now. It's divinationwithdanny@gmail.com. And hopefully between now and the next episode, I will actually have a few shorts started on myths, misconceptions, and just a few questions. And then we can run into, I will request questions from all of you so we can keep that going. But in the meantime, okay, so we did that, the new logo. So the reason that I went in the direction of let's start with the elements, right? Because when you look at tarot, there are 4 elements that take center stage there, right? It's fire, water, air, and earth, right? The 4 elements. They take center stage. It's the cups, the wands, the swords, the pentacles. They're all represented. And so tonight, because it is the one that I'm drawn to the most, we are going to be covering water. And being able to really dive into the elements and to understand them for what they are, just beyond tarot, just to experience them and to learn about them and to study them actually is a game changer when it comes to reading tarot, right? Because if you think about it, it gives you a heightened awareness, right? And you get that of just even like what the symbolism for the element means within the cards, and it gives you a more in-depth and insightful readings, and it really allows you to look at the cards and ask different questions that will be pivotal to getting some answers for your client or your client or however you define the person that you're reading for. So water. When we think about water as an element, so what comes to mind to all of you? What is that personal connection that you make with water? Oh, thank you. Thank you. For me, when I think of water, and I tried to jot down a couple of just like quick notes here for before I even did any research, right? So for me, when I think of water, I think of it as a conduit, right? It's a conduit for information and for emotion, especially when you think about that on a paranormal level. It's a lot of lore and a lot of theory behind water enhances paranormal activity because it's allowing the energy to amplify or to feed the energy around us. And I feel like water holds a lot of desire, and it can also be a mirror or like a reflector. Because like how many times with divination and even with paranormal in general, with investigations, when you do like scrying with a bowl of water, or if you're looking into a pond or just a stagnant water that's clear and glassy, you can see into it and it's reflective, and you can use that, right? You can use that almost as a doorway. So for me too, it's also water. I would consider it to be like a portal or a doorway, right? And it is a connector in my opinion to the other side. There's something about water that there's this power and this patience with it. It morphs, it flows, it's prophetic. There's magic that comes in with it. Hey, Mike, thank you so much for tuning in, man. And it just embodies patience and the importance of intention, right? So that is one thing when I was doing the studying for this episode. And it's also something that I learned when I was studying Reiki too, when I was studying to get my certification for Reiki, was that you can set intentions in water, that as you're pouring your glass of water or as you're holding your glass of water, that you can put blessings or prayer, or you can imagine with Reiki, you imagine the Reiki symbols flowing into it, and you're charging that water with your intention. So right there, it amplifies that fact of it feels like it could be prophetic or magic because you're putting intention into it. You're putting your energy into it. It brings it to life, So for me, it's a very powerful element. And in the world of tarot, it embodies emotions, right? And relationships and love and just all of those warm, fuzzy, connecting, and they're not necessarily always warm and fuzzy, right? So like when you get the shadow side of a cup, it could be, a disconnect in a relationship, but it's always those connections with people and yourself and just the relationships with everything around you. And love's a big, it's a big thing with water because of just how fluid and all encompassing it can be. Hi, Leanne. So when we read tarot, those are the go-tos, right? When you get your cups, it's emotions, relationships, and love. And when you just take take a simple look at water, and like that's all there, right? All of those elements, those are there. Even the ones that I jot down before I did my research, a lot of that I could ping off of as I was looking into this a little bit deeper. But just water in general, like what does it do? It nourishes, it helps things grow, it pours, it can overflow, right? When it's too much for the container that it's in, it overflows. It can stand stagnant. It runs deep, deep as in like deep lakes and oceans. It can drown, right? There's a scary side to water. It can drown, it can dry up. And when you think about all of those aspects of it, emotions do the exact same thing, right? So when you think about that, when you think about how emotions can be just like water, when you see the water in the tarot cards, then that can be a huge reflection of the emotional state of the person that you're reading for too. So like if they pull a card that has really a lot of like waves in an ocean setting behind it, or if it's very choppy or very serene, like these are all states to consider as far as like emotion or like where they're at with just their whole vibe of how they're feeling. And it's a really great way to move forward with, okay, like how do I read the next card, or how do I read the cards around it? Just from looking at the emotional aspect of what water can represent. Because if you think about it, when you're in flow, when your feelings are in flow, right, you can forge these amazing, beautiful, deep connections with people and places, and just it's all life around you. You feel connected. You feel part of everything. You share your soul, right? When you're in flow, you want to share everything. You want to be a part of everything. You can fall in love, and you express when you're like really vibing, right? You want to express yourself in vulnerable ways. You open up your heart center to people when you're in flow because you don't feel threatened, you don't feel closed off. And you put yourself out there to experience just all of the beautiful parts of life. And it's a magical thing, right? So when you're in flow, all these beautiful things come to you. Now, if you think about it, when you're not in flow, right? Like when you're clogged and you're shut off, when your emotions they're not right? That's just like the shadow side of the water in tarot, right? You get hung up on the past or the what ifs or I should have's, or and then emotions can, when you're not really flowing, when you don't know what to do with all of that's coming to you, your emotions can get the best of you and they can feel super overwhelming, and you can like overreact to things that don't need an overreaction, right? I mean, we've all been there. We've all done that. That's nothing new for anybody. I'm sure every single one of us have experienced a moment where we weren't in flow, right? Like I know definitely for me, like for sure, as a water sign, I'm all over the place, right? So I understand that completely. And so just knowing that the way water flows and the way emotion flows, and just being able to read that with the cards, that's all right there, So water also represents, and I like to bring in like the masculine and the feminine aspects of everything, because I feel like it's a great balancing act. Like, I don't know if anything's ever 100% balanced, but there's always that striving to become balanced, and masculine and feminine energy are part of that. So when you look at water, it's a very deeply feminine energy, and it really is reflected in all like the subtle powers of water, right? The receptivity, the adaptability of water. Like water will just take the form of whatever it's poured into. Purification. Water is definitely known to be something that purifies and cleanses. And just that power of being able to flow with things, just to go with things. Water flows, it'll go the path of the least resistance. So it'll go where it needs to. And, oh, good. Yes. Water signs. Yeah. See, tell you what, man, that's why I chose water first, because it calls to me. I love it. And it's such a powerful, like even good or bad, water is so powerful in so many beautiful and just very powerful ways, right? And just as a symbol, as an element, right? So you look at like we're talking about water in the form of emotion. We're talking about water and how you read it in the cards, but you look at it as like an element in general. Excuse me 1 second. As an element in general, it's an empathetic, all right? It's a very empathetic just being able to empathize. It's considered something where they associate it to second sight, flexibility and resilience. And like definitely, like I think we've been talking about this from the very start, feelings and emotions. Water is very much connected to feelings and emotions and your intuition and relationships. And especially when we dive into the cups as a suit for tarot, these relationships, intuition, that inherent connection, the potential for healing, actually. And when I bring up the Ace to King, you'll see like there's this journey for like healing, cleansing, growth. It's all right there. Water's all a part of that, especially healing. I feel like there's a nice, there's this just beautiful correlation to water and healing, and for like cleansing your mind and cleansing your thoughts, and the depth of it, right? The depth that water can bring to any scenario, and just like this deep wisdom that comes with it. So when it comes to tarot, water, and when water's in a lot of the suits, by the way, like water's in pretty much every single freaking card in the tarot. Yeah, right? I love that. They're almost always feminine because I just feel like water is a very feminine element. Yeah. So beyond being in just about every single card, and it is like, let me bring this up. Let me make that a little bigger so you can actually see it. And maybe a little bigger. Wait, hold on. What am I doing? No, it's not going to do it. All right, well, we'll have to do this then. All right. All of this is all cups, right? They're water, but it's in every single, and you have to bear with me. Leo 8, my original deck that I was going to use. So we are pivoting and using decks that I normally wouldn't. But there's water in just about every single, like Temperance has it, Death. I feel like there's water in the background of Death. The High Priestess has water, the cups. I mean, even like the swords, right? There's water in some of the swords. There's a lot of cups, or a lot of cards that have water. There's even an ocean in the background of the wands. So there are many, many cards that associate water, and you can use that for like all of the aspects that we were talking about, right? The emotion and how to read where someone's emotional state might be, even if it's not a cups suit itself. There's water in a lot of these cards, and it's something to just, take note of. Like, it might not be the main aspect of that specific card, but it's something. Yeah, he was trying to yeah. I was getting ready, and I was making my drink to go. I started drinking this butterfly pea flower tea, and I was making it to make it into a nice tea for tonight. And he comes trotting out with a tarot card. I'm like, well, okay, I'm gonna have to go find another deck now. But yeah, it's all good. But okay, so suits. As far as the suit goes, cups is the main representation for water, right? It deals with the emotional level of the consciousness, right? And it's associated with more or less like everything that we've already been talking about. So like when you're talking about it being in flow or like upright, the way these are right here, you have love and all of your feelings, right? All the feels, all the emotions, your relationships, your connections to different people and situations. Definitely creativity when it comes to water. Creativity is a big aspect, especially with the cup suit. Romanticism, like being romantic situations, fantasy, imagination is a big thing with water and with the cup suit. But also, okay, so now those are all like when you're in flow, right? So what happens when you're not in flow, or the reverse, or shadow? Like I hate saying reverse, but like the shadow side, it is the reverse side. But like, so when you're out of flow, or when all of the water's dried up, like what does that mean in a reading? So that would be being overly emotional, right? Or being completely disengaged or dispassionate altogether, just like not having the feels, or having super unrealistic expectations. And this could be like of yourself, of others, of a situation, just completely unrealistic, unhealthy expectations. And also like fantasizing, but like the excessive, unhealthy fantasizing, like almost obsessing, would be a reverse for cups and an inability to like really express yourself, right? Because like when water's in flow, everything's flowing, everything's open, and you're able to express yourself, right? So when it's not in flow, or like when it's dried up, you're not going to be able to express yourself, like those feelings, or that you don't want to be vulnerable, so you're going to close yourself off. So you would be unwilling to express yourself, or just having a lack of creativity, or an inability to express yourself in a creative aspect altogether, right? So when do you know what is what? And like, how do you know how to connect with water? Well, the most powerful way to connect with any of the elements, right, is just it's to experience them. It's to put them into your daily life, right? So, okay, for water, how the heck do we do that? Well, there's a few real easy ways to do this, guys. Like, you can go find yourself a body of water, like spend time at the beach, or like a river or a lake, or just some body of water. Even if you have a pool, like go sit by the pool for a little bit, which sounds really relaxing and nice, actually, right? So spending time near water, and if for some reason you find yourself in a situation where you can't be near water, or you're just landlocked for some reason, you don't have a pool, you don't have access to a large body of water, you could meditate and you could visualize yourself being at a beach or a river or a lake, or sitting poolside, right? Like, no problem. Visualization is always a tool that I would highly recommend to anybody who just can't be in the ideal situation at that moment. Always use visualization. When it's raining, pay attention to the rain. Listen, like, how does it sound? Go out into it, let it fall on you. How does that feel? How does it feel when it's like soaking into your clothes and you can feel the dampness, or watching puddles form, right? Just taking that moment to see how it fills up a space and then the water expands from it, or watch how raindrops fall down a window pane and just the patterns that they make, and why they move one way and not another, and just really take the time to just be in the moment with it, right? Or you could turn on the tap at home, go to the sink, turn on the tap, and put your hands in the water, and feel, what does that feel like for the water to run across your skin? And you can do the same thing with a shower, right? Like, be mindful, tune in to the entire experience, right? Like, listen to the water, feel the water on you, feel how just like even it changes the atmosphere around you. Are your thoughts clearing? Do you feel at peace? Do you like how do you feel when you're in that moment? And same thing can go for drinking a glass of water. If you can't do any of the above, you can drink a glass of water, and just notice how nourishing and how refreshing that can feel when you really are like, you have ever been like super, super thirsty, right? And then you just take that drink of water, and just, it's so nurturing and it's so refreshing. And that is the element of water right there, right? That's the whole thing, is just, it's there to uplift, to vibe out, and to kind of bring you back to the present moment. So observing our elements in the purest form and just watching how they express themselves in different ways can just really, really up your game, because you can take those experiences, right? Because they're personal experiences now. You've felt them, you've experienced them, and now you can take that into your tarot game, right? So you can take that with you, and you can be like, okay, this scenario looks like, so you can even take that with the Ace of Cups. Can you see that? Okay, yes, you can see that. So it's like it's flowing out of this chalice is overflowing. There's little sprinkles coming out of it, and then there's this beautiful, like, serene pond beneath it. So you could be like, this is just like an overflow of emotions, but like it doesn't seem like it's super crazy. There's no like raging. It's nice, flowy. So this is like this just beautiful, uplifting moment of just something being so, like, in the moment, so uplifting and exciting and nourishing that it's overflowing into everything else. So this is like the beginning of something very beautiful. So you can like take your experiences of just feeling water and being with water, and you can use it to up your game when you're reading. So definitely take your time. And I recommend like taking like a good week or two per element, right? Really just, and like even dive in beyond tarot itself, right? Like I said, like just feeling it, experiencing it, and doing your homework on the element, or like on all levels, even on a scientific level. Like, really dive into it. It's not going to hurt anything. All you're going to do is gain a little bit of knowledge, right? Take your time, and then you come back to your deck. You come back with how, like for water, you take back with like how water expresses itself in the cards. Now you can look through all of the cards, spread them all out in front of you, and look at every single freaking one that has water in it, and like ask yourself, okay, now with the knowledge that I now have, do I see this card differently? Do I feel differently about how the water is in this? Or, ask yourself, what do you notice? Do you notice if the water is flowing or if it's stagnant? That could be a huge indicator of how to read the card or the cards around it. Is the water being forceful or is it being gentle? Just the state of the water in general, right? Like, is it calm? Is it moving? Is it full of waves? Or is it just like super still and stagnant? And then beyond the studying, beyond the emotion, just like some general, this is like some real quick general, because I just saw I have them on my notes here. I should probably bring them up. Real general things to consider about water. Like when you see a river in a card, right? That's more of like it's usually a symbolism of fertility, flow, transformation or change, right? Some kind of movement there. And then when you see an ocean, definitely more of like the unknown, right? Because we really don't know. And it makes sense because we really don't know everything about the oceans, right? So the unknown, a lot of times that's associated with the subconscious or knowledge in general, right? Gaining knowledge or a journey, because, ships on the ocean, that's a journey, right? So taking a journey internally or even externally, like maybe physically going somewhere, or it's a journey into the self and learning about yourself. And then like ponds and lakes are usually more serene, right? So you're going to get the serene emotions, reflection, just peacefulness, right? So, okay. So now I've been like chatting on and on and on, and I do want to get to being able to read for you guys. And I do want to bring up, I was playing around with a spread that's just for the cups in general, and we'll get into that. But for anyone who's actually interested in diving in, right? Oh, hello. Sorry, I just want to say hello. I saw a couple people popped in here. Hello, hello. Oh, wait. Hold on. Hi, Sandy. April, thank you so much for tuning in. I feel like I may have missed. Did I miss anyone I missed? I am so sorry. I know it's hard to like juggle the side and kind of get on a rant here. But okay. Anyone who's actually interested in doing this for gaining a little bit of extra knowledge with the elements, because I feel like this really it's a game changer for being able to read your cards. It truly is. And anyone who wants to get more in depth, I have a homework challenge for you, right? Focus on your elements. So like for this time, from here until next show, focus on water, right? Dive into water as an element. Immerse yourself in it. Experience it, research it, play with it, right? And look at how water expresses itself in the cards then, just like as I was saying, like I took the time and I really like dove into it. I visualized with it. I meditated. I asked myself the question of how I feel around it, or, worked with putting intention into a glass of water every morning. It's a really good way to get connected with water too. And to really uplift yourself every morning too. Guys, if you do nothing else, glass of water in the morning and set an intention in it. Like even if it's just love or being able to understand, love and understanding, right? Just like throw that intention into the water and then drink it every morning. Eventually you're going to notice that it's easier for you to be accepting of things. It's just because you keep putting that intention out there. And, even if water is just like the placebo effect for that, because it's a way for you to encourage yourself to throw something out there, it's still working. So just try it, right? Okay. So once you've played with the element of water, once you've dived into it, researched it, go back into your cards. Look at how the cards are expressed with that element, right? Spread out. And this is why I have the ace through the king here spread out for cups. Spread them out, ace all the way through king. And then look at them. Ask yourself, what do I see in all of these cards? How do the figures in this interact with each other or not, right? What stands out to you about the water in each of these cards? Is there water? Is there not? Like I've noticed, I was looking over it. I noticed like I really don't see water in the Four of Cups, and that makes sense. It's more like a dried up situation. And the Four of Cups is being dissatisfied or just like stalemate kind of a card, right? So it'd be like things are dried up for you. But like really look at them and build a story. Like, so, okay, from if you're going down, like this is your path, what story can I build out of that? Like, what do I see? And I know when I really sat down, this was like the first time I really spread them all out. Like, this is something that you should do in the beginning of learning tarot, and I've only just started it. So there we are with that. But like taking it and just writing down is just creating a story. It doesn't need to be what the book definition is, right? Just look at it and what do you see? And I was able to like create this story of like a life journey, right? The ups and downs of life, of building connections with people, of losing connections with people, and having to recollect yourself and the temptation, like, you know, new beginnings and building the relationship and having a reason to celebrate and just having this beautiful situation of just your circle, right? Of your tribe. But then like something happens where you're dissatisfied, something doesn't go the way you necessarily thought it would be, and then you have to mourn that. But then you get these feelings of just like reminiscing, right? Like reminiscing about the past, or like the things that really were true to your heart, and then working through the temptation of like what pulled you away from that, or what lies ahead of you that you need to figure out for yourself, right? And there's this whole temptation aspect of it, which makes you have to kind of retreat from the world a little bit, right? Retreat into yourself, go into your cave and just be with what do you want? What do you want of yourself? What are your feelings? What are your fears? And from that, you gain this beautiful confidence in yourself, right? And there's this ability to manifest, to create your own luck, because now you know yourself. Now you've faced your fears. You've asked yourself what you truly want in life, and you're able to manifest that for yourself now. So this is like a card of luck, right? And he seems very content with himself, doesn't he? Look at him. He's got all these cups. He's got everything he needs, and he doesn't have to worry about a damn thing because he figured himself out. From there, he has built himself this beautiful life. This is always like what my one teacher had always said, like, this was like the happy ending card. And it makes me like, I know, like at heart, I'm like, what, a 12-year-old boy, it makes me giggle. But just like having everything you need, right? Your abundance is there. Everything's flowing. You have your beautiful family. You have your little home in the background. Like everything's good, right? And then from there are your little messages of love and connection and growth. And it brings like, it brings this triumphant, like you can go after the things that your heart desires, and you have the connection to everything around you. And then you just have all of the maturity that you need because you've gone through this entire journey of growth, right? It was the story I built in my head, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that actually really connects to like all of the freaking cards. So like when you dive into the definitions after that, you can see how just vibing out with the symbolism, vibing out with creating your own story can actually really connect. And I feel like I know I'm rambling here, but like I just wanted to throw that out there. Like, don't be afraid to really play with these, or like randomly take 3 cards out of the deck. Doesn't matter which 3 cards, and then create a story out of it, right? Based on what you see. It's kind of what you do when you read anyway. Don't let anyone fool you. When you're reading cards for people, you're building a story, and you're building it you're getting information from your intuition, right? So it's not like you're not bullshitting somebody. You're looking at the cards, you're taking from your gut, from wherever, and you're building with it. But at the end of the day, you're reading the symbols to build a story, right? It's a framework. So now that I've rambled, is anyone still with me here? Does anyone on the side want a card reading? I love that you do. See, look, setting intentions. Seriously. All right. So anyone that does want a card reading, I was playing around with this. All right. So if anyone wants just like a cups reading, and this worked out, this was my reading that I did for myself, guys. So it's like, how can I incorporate, oh, Sam, yay. So Sam, let me know. Are you cool with just the cups reading, or do you want like a regular reading? Because if you want regular without just the cups, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to run with the cups. So what I did was I was like, how can I build something where we're reading just for flow, right? Like, what do I need to know to get into the flow of who I am, of life, of just the flow, right? So whatever the flow means to you, to being connected to everything is what I think the flow is. So I was like, okay, so okay, yes. All right, cool. Perfect, Sam. I'm going to definitely be reading for you. Absolutely with that. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. So what we're going to do for this reading is your first card is going to be, what do you need to let go of, right? What do you need to let go of to be able to let yourself flow? And then the middle card is going to be what you need to focus on to get yourself there. And then the last card is going to be what's going to help you get into flow, right? So we're only going to be using the cups cards for this. And it worked out really good. So for me, for mine, because that's my reading, figured I'd throw that out there right away. And if you hear some random snoring noises, the dog is right next to me and he is snoring very loud. So I just want to apologize for that. I am boring him apparently. So for me with this, the Queen of Cups, when I looked at this, like, what do I need to let go of? The first thing that I saw was that her cup has a lid on it, right? So I'm keeping things bottled up. I'm not actually paying attention to my intuition the way I need to be. And I'm actually like really doing myself a disservice with that. And then I noticed that my second thing that I noticed where there's like little cherubs or little children on the Queen of Cups card. And so it's like needing to open up, needing to let myself flow with my intuition, maybe reconnect with the inner child, right? I need to let things go. I need to let the baggage drop. And I need to move on from whatever's stopping me from just really being able to be open. And what I need to focus on is personal growth, right? So with, what is that? The Eight of Cups, they're going into the cave. They're kind of like pushing away everything from the outside world, all the distractions, and really needing to focus in on something to like really dive into what's going on. What do I want? What do I need to face my fears? What do I need to let go of? So doing that, right? So I need to open up. I need to face what I need to face. I need to just really get real honest with myself. And then from there, I'll be able to, like, what's going to help me is like learning to manifest, learning to be able to find those little things in life to be grateful for, like working on focusing on the positive, on the what do I want, on the learning how to manifest my future, right? So that was my reading for that one. And I thought it was very fitting because that is definitely a situation that I've been in lately. So we're going to start with Sam. And then I see there's a couple other people that have asked for readings. So Sam, we're going to just with the cups card. It's really weird to shuffle only a few cards. So we're focusing on Sam and what she needs to know to get into flow. Okay. So this will be, your first card will be what you need to let go of. And we'll flip these over all at once. I feel like that worked out better for me last time. And then, ooh, that one's jumping. What you need to focus on will be this card. And then what's going to help you. I feel like I never know where to shuffle. I need like another camera. Okay, that one. Okay, Sam, so for you, okay, here we go. So for you, oh, I love this. All right, so what do you need to let go of? So when we're looking at this, are you, and this, if you see something completely different, let me take this down. You don't need to see this anymore. I need to make that bigger. How do I do this? Hold on. Give me a second. That's about as, oh, ta-da! Okay. Bear with me, guys. All right. So the one thing that you need to let go of, we have, what is that? The nine of cups in this space. So have you been focusing on trying really hard to manifest something? Like, has there been a huge emphasis on just needing to get something done, needing to put a lot of energy into building something, but to the point where maybe there's just like, it's blocking you to the point where like you're pushing so hard for it, or you're trying so hard to manifest something that maybe it's getting to the point where you might be getting in your own way, or you need to redirect energy into the positive sides of things, right? So like if you haven't been like super focused on it, then maybe it's time to let go of the things you think are holding you back. Like let go of the what ifs or the I can'ts, because this is one of those cards that says anything that you want is really at the palm of your hands. So letting yourself being open to the fact that the possibilities are endless. And if you have been trying to push for everything is at your fingertips and you've been pushing too hard, you need to just start letting it flow, right? So then your Ace of Cups is, I need to bring this back up for a second. Okay, what to focus on, right? you have a whole new beginning right now. I don't know if you can see this, but the Ace of Cups is this beautiful card of just my cup runneth over, right? Like all this beautiful, fresh, new energy, all of this new emotion, all of this just real connected. So like your intuition, your emotions, your connection to people, this is just going to be this real fresh vibe, right? And it's almost like a divine gift. I don't know if you can see, like there's a dove that falls into the cup. So this is almost like divinely driven energy. So just really focus on being in the moment, really feeling the moment for what it is in the, like, regardless of everything that you want to see happen, really just relishing everything that's right at your fingertips right now, all those beautiful things to be grateful for. And what's going to help you get there is tuning into your heart, right? So with the Seven of Cups, the big thing for me, like, okay, Seven of Cups is all about temptation, but the key to getting through the temptation, the key to getting through all of the choices that you need to make, or all like which is the right choice, is listening to your heart, right? So when you listen to your heart center, the Seven of Cups becomes a guide. It's not scary anymore. Like this, some people think this card's very scary because it's like the clouds are gray and there's some not so stellar items in some of the cups. And it's just to represent that there are so many choices and not every single choice is going to be your best friend. The way to figure that out is to listen to your heart, to be in the moment, to ask yourself, what is truly going to be beneficial for me? So letting things flow, being in the moment and just listening to your heart is going to get you exactly where you need to be in life. So Sam, I hope that like makes any kind of sense to you, or if you saw the cards differently, I hope that it was beneficial to you however you saw that. I love this. I love the Cups cards. Okay, so after Sam, I think I saw. Okay, oh good. Oh my God, that makes me so happy. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Kayla. I'm gonna read Kayla then. Let's see. I just want to make sure. Damien, did you want a card? Hold on. I think I saw him next. Oh, wait. Damien, if you did, I see Denise is next. Oh, okay. Denise, you were getting a Cups card reading. Denise is such an amazing human being. She's such a beautiful soul. And one of the best things about her is you can be very real and very honest with her, and she'll be very real and very honest with you back. And there needs to be more people like that in the world. There really does. All right, Denise. Here we go. This is for Denise, for Cups, for what needs to be let go of. Okay. The next card will be what we need to focus on. And then what's going to help us get there? So now, here we go. Let's see. I kind of like these cards. I don't know why I don't use them more. Okay, so for what we need to let go of, Denise, what I'm seeing here, so Six of Cups, and obviously, like I say to everybody, like if you see something different than what I'm pulling, please always go with what you're seeing, because cards are very personal and your intuition is going to call to you. And if it's way different than what I'm saying, you always just go with what you're seeing. So what I'm seeing with this one is Six of Cups. Like, so maybe are you holding on to either a past situation or your perception of a past situation or a past connection to somebody? There, at some point, there's this, it's a beautiful connection. It's not a bad connection at all. It's something that's going to be very reminiscent, very heartfelt, very warm, but it's also preventing something from moving forward, right? So this is either like you're stuck in a memory or you're stuck in a how things used to be situation. And that's not necessarily saying that that's bad, obviously, because like the Six of Cups is it's very warm. It's very nostalgic is a really good word for the Six of Cups, right? But like having that kind of like feeling it, acknowledging it, and then like letting it go into the past where it needs to go, right? What you need to focus on is letting your heart charge forward, like letting that beautiful passion that's inside of you, letting your heart center guide you, and just like letting it guide you full force, like push through the barriers of nostalgia, push through the wishing something would have been either stayed the way it was or wanting to go back to something. Like, it's time to move forward and your heart is ready for it. So just like let all that beautiful emotion guide you because you're ready, right? You're ready to move forward. So just let yourself charge into something new and beautiful and let your heart actually be the thing that guides you forward. Because with the Knight of Cups, he is like that knight in shining armor, but he's also, he uses his heart to let him guide him through. And what's going to help you get there is letting that fresh flow of emotion or connection for some reason. I don't know. I saw the little wafer for some reason connected with me. And I'm like, that's intuition for me with this one. Letting your intuition, which also is guiding your Knight of Cups here, right? So your intuition, your heart, let them guide you into this beautiful flow, because there's a lot of fresh energy just wanting to present itself to you. So you got to let that happen. Hopefully that connects. Or if you saw that differently, totally run with what you saw for sure. Let me see. Okay, Damien, let's see. Where am I at here? Bear with me, guys. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. All right, Kayla and then Damien, okay? Love that, thank you. Okay. So, how's everyone doing tonight? Everyone doing good? We are going to read for Kayla, and we're going to do the cup reading, and we're going to do what to let go of, what to focus on, and what's going to help. Okay, so one. Let's see. I don't know how some people, I was watching people the other day. I don't normally watch how people read, but I was watching on Instagram the other day just to like kind of kill some time. I was just noticing how differently everybody shuffles. It is such a unique process. Okay, so we have, oh, I like this. Okay, so Kayla, and this goes like I do for everybody. If you see something completely different, you absolutely go with what you're seeing versus what I'm saying. So what to let go of? For this one, I'm seeing 4 of Cups, and I'm seeing like there's this wishing things could have been different or not being satisfied with what was initially presented. So letting go of, okay, yeah, something wasn't necessarily exactly how you had wanted it to be, or you wish something could have been different. There's this whole like dissatisfaction or restlessness. There's some form of like there's just like that vibe to the 4 of Cups, right? So if there's something in your life where it didn't feel like it flowed the way you needed it to in that moment, and it was just like a no-go situation, or I guess I'll deal with this for the meantime kind of a thing, like one of those kind of vibes. Like letting that go, right? Because what was initially presented to you, okay, yeah, not what you wanted, but like there are a lot of opportunities that are still there for you. And those 3 cups are actually going to be like those things that are still available for you are going to be what you want to focus on. Those other opportunities that are there that may not have necessarily been there if you had not been presented with the initial first thing that wasn't so stellar or wasn't as appealing to you, right? That had to happen for these to line up. So you can let go of that initial situation and focus on that. Okay, now this has been presented. Now there are these beautiful opportunities here, and it's something to be celebrated, right? It's something to get really excited about and just like let that vibe flow. And I feel like that is definitely something that's presented itself to you, like in the here and now, like whatever crappy situation presented something really good. And now that really good thing is what you need to focus on. And focusing on that, right, is going to lead to this beautiful aspect of abundance. And that's what's going to help you getting there is the gratitude, right? The being able to like, yes, I appreciate this, and this about what's going on right now. So being able to appreciate that brings in this flow of energy that's fresher and newer and brings in that abundant flow with it, right? So that abundant flow helps you create and manifest. So being able to just see the silver linings and the things that you're going to be letting go of, paying attention to what really sparks your heart and really finding all of the tiny little nuances to be really appreciative of is going to help you build exactly what you want to manifest into your life. So hopefully that makes some form of sense. I hope that it does, because that's what I'm seeing. Wait a second, what is that? Oh man. Okay, that's so cool. I love that, Denise. Thank you for saying that. Good, and I'm glad you're doing much better tonight, Damien. Good, Damien, you are up now, hun. I'm gonna do some cards for you, and we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna do the what to let go of, what to focus on, and what's gonna help you get there. So if you guys enjoyed having a special spread for the suit that I'm focusing on, let me know, because I kind of want to do this for the other 3 elements as well. I want to build a spread for each one. Okay, this is for Damien. Guys, I think I'm the last show tonight on the podcast program, but make sure you tune in tomorrow. Sarah with Paranormally Blonde is actually going to have Sam on, so you need to tune in and watch her. Sam, if you're still on site, I'm so excited to see you. Okay, this is for Damien. This is going to be what to focus on. Okay. What to focus on, and then what's going to help you. See, yes, I know. I'm so excited to see you on the show. It's going to be so much fun. And thank you, Damien. Thank you, because I think I really do want to do that. That one. Okay. All right. So for Damien, we have. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know why the sound effects sometimes helps me. Okay, so Page of Cups. So when I see Page of Cups, this is one of those something's being presented. There's some form of growth, some form of information coming in. I always end up focusing on his tunic, or the person. I don't know, some people say it's supposed to be a girl, whatever the person in the photo, whatever their tunic that they're wearing. I always see it, and I know some people are like, yo, it's tulips. I see it as oh, wow. The word just I just lost the word. But anyway, I see it as something like growing up, and I don't know that it's like more of like, oh, I can't, whatever. I can't think of the word right now. It'll come to me. But there's like this growth of pushing through something, right? Of just a freshness and being able to communicate on a new level. But here's the thing. Are you waiting too much on are you waiting too much for something new to be presented? Like, are you waiting on news that maybe hasn't happened yet and you're really excited about it, and like it's like almost preventing the growth? It's almost preventing pushing through. It's like there's something, I feel like there's a waiting game going on here that is actually kind of blocking an intuition. Keep that in mind. I want to come back to this. So having to let go of just waiting for new information to come through. What you do want to focus on is all that beautiful energy that's already there, right? So there is this flow event, and it's new. There's new energy coming in. There's new emotion coming in that maybe might not have necessarily tapped fully into it yet, because maybe you're waiting on something it might have already presented itself, but not in the way that you were expecting it to. So letting go of how something should be presented and focusing on the flow that's actually going on, right? There is like an opening of the heart center here. And then there is like this, I don't know if I want to say universe, but there's some kind of like, it's either your higher self, there's some form of an energetic value to this, where it's flowing in, just paying attention to that, being in the moment with what's actually going on with you right now is really going to benefit you with moving into flow. And then just listening to your heart, right? So realizing that maybe something that you had been waiting on might not go exactly how you wanted to, so let that go. You have all of this, like the 7 of Cups is with temptation and lots of choices. But if you already have this beautiful flow of energy coming in, allowing your heart to guide you, asking yourself, well, what is truly meant for me? What is going to benefit me is really going to help this flow happen. So hopefully that makes some sense. I feel like, yeah, like there's a stumbling going on here. There's an absolute flow happening, and just following your heart is going to allow that just completely to flow the way it needs to. So, what is this? Okay, all right, cool. Guys, thank you so much. I know we're almost at the end here, so I just wanted to take a minute to say thank you so much for tuning in and for being patient with me as I took the time that I needed to figure out what I was going to do with all of this. Okay, yes. So letting yourself flow. Okay, then that's okay. Then that reading is meant to absolutely just like tune into yourself, man. You know how to guide yourself. You just need to let yourself flow. And you've got this. But yeah, no, guys, thank you so much for being patient with me as I figured out my own shit here and realizing that I don't want to give it up. I just need to redefine how I do all of this. And like I said, next episode, we will be focusing on one of the other elements. I haven't figured out which one yet. And I will be bringing a request for questions with me with the new email address and how we're going to work that into the YouTube page. And yeah, I'm excited about this new leg of the journey, right? Really diving in a deeper level and really connecting, and hopefully, a few, like, whoever feels like they want to take this journey with me, hopefully it's beneficial. And always feel free to bounce questions off me, or if you have suggestions, I'm always open for suggestions. But thank you everyone for tuning in, for allowing me to read for you, for allowing me to share my passion with you. Seriously, thank you. I will see you in not next weekend, but the weekend after. So I will get that posted and I will let you know what the next episode will be once I figured it out. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Love all of you. Good night.